Hello and welcome. Today we're going to have a little lesson learning how to communicate while working through your social anxiety. We all communicate in some form or fashion every single day, but our communication with others can be hindered by our own personal weaknesses. Therefore, you'll need to work through those weaknesses. Would you identify yourself as a shy person? Do you experience anxiety or even panic at the thought of talking to other people? And especially with people that you don't even know? If this describes you, then you are going to be less likely to communicate with others. This can leave you feeling isolated and alone. Without communication, you could miss out on so much. You might miss out on important or helpful information. You might miss out on going to a fun event. You might even miss out on having your personal needs met because you're going to be too afraid to ask for what you need. You might even miss out on making a great new friend. So, today, I want to present you with a strategy, one that will enhance your ability to communicate with other people. And we are going to do this by specifically focusing on how to work through your social anxiety. I presented my own personal strategy to my teenage daughter last year. When she was 14, I noticed that she began to shy away from social interactions. She was even too shy to order her own food when we would go out to eat at a restaurant or a drive-thru. So I placed her orders for her. It didn't seem like a big deal at first. But then I decided that she must be encouraged to place her own orders. Once she became a bit more comfortable with that, we discussed her branching out and talking to other people. You know, some face-to-face human interactions. The easiest place for her to do this would be at school. With summer coming to an end, school will soon be back in session. And since she watches my channel, I am able to give her access to my motherly advice when she needs a reminder. I made this video to help her with her social anxiety, and I hope you can use it too. So, first, we want to begin with a clearly defined goal. Our goal here is to practice talking to new people. This is an active process that will require you to practice a few easy steps toward achieving your goal. There is no quick fix for social anxiety. You will have to put in the work and train yourself. If that's truly what you want, you're going to experience discomfort. But I don't want that to discourage you or scare you. Instead, allow me to present you with a guide to help you work through your social anxiety. Because no matter how your social interactions turn out, you're going to be okay. I promise. In the beginning, using this strategy is going to be uncomfortable, yet necessary. I recommend keeping it short and simple to start, say about 30 seconds or less. Now that you've set your goal, it's time to create your plan, a strategy. Knowing the steps and how you will work them is going to be extremely helpful for you, especially if, in the midst of the interaction, you become emotional or anxious, because now you will know how to mentally talk yourself through it as you do it. So, let's go over the steps you can take to achieve your goal. First, you're going to want to search for authentic moments to have extremely short human interactions. This will typically occur in a public setting with many people around. Observe the people around you. You'll want to select an easy target. What I mean is, a person that you think will be easy for you to approach. So, we have our clearly defined goal, and you have observed a crowded space, and you've locked in on a target. But you're still not ready to approach. You can't just charge in blindly. There are a few more steps that we must go over before you are ready to approach the target. This is where you prepare mentally. You are preparing yourself mentally for any possible scenario or outcome that might occur as a result of this interaction. This interaction is going to need to be something that will cause an encouraging outcome for you. Being prepared means understanding that this interaction could go either way, favorably or unfavorably. I use these words instead of success or failure because failure is too often associated with negativity. And let me just say that when you choose to branch out by communicating with other people, no matter the outcome of that interaction, there is no failure, except that you refuse to even try. So because unfavorable responses can make you feel like your attempt was a failure, being prepared for those unfavorable responses is really going to make it easier for you to work through the situation because you will have a plan for every possible outcome. At least all the possible outcomes you could think of. The next thing you want to do is decide how you are going to communicate with the target. Be both certain and specific. Then you must also consider how the target might respond to what you say. There are many ways to begin a verbal interaction, but today I'm going to focus on giving a compliment because giving a compliment can be quick and easy. You could say something like, "Hi there, I just had to tell you I really love that bag." Now that we've decided what to say, we must consider the target's possible responses. A typical response to a compliment is usually a smile and a thank you. Let's see how this might work. Thank you. This would be a favorable response from the target. You then can easily respond with, "Yeah, you're welcome," or whatever works for you in that moment. Be authentic to yourself. Use the words that feel natural to you. Just plan them first. You're going to want to end the interaction. You might say something like this. "Well, I'll see you around." Let's see what that looks like when we put everything together. "Hi, I just had to tell you I really love that bag." "Oh, yeah, thank you so much." "Of course, you're welcome. Well, I'll see you around. Bye." But that's not the only possible outcome. That was only one possible scenario, and it was the response that you would most likely expect. Another possible scenario is that after giving the compliment, the target may give you a rude look or even make some rude gesture. This is why you have to prepare for when the target reacts negatively. By having a plan, you can work the steps if a negative interaction were to occur. Because the goal here is to build confidence in communicating, not to increase your anxiety, and definitely not to cause you any embarrassment. All in all, the most important part is to avoid going into panic mode. Also, you're not trying to cause yourself any trouble by getting in any fights with the target, so be careful how you respond. This is to build yourself up, and so that you can communicate and feel good about yourself. But this also means understanding that other people get nervous too, and they don't always know the right ways to respond. The target you selected will have problems of their own, problems which you most likely will not be aware of.
The line between real experience and imagined events isn't as clear as we might think. Functional MRI scans show that when a person mentally rehearses an action, like moving a hand or having a conversation, the same brain regions light up as they do during the actual experience. In other words, the brain activates nearly identical neural circuits, whether something is happening in the physical world or only in the mind. To the brain, a vivid mental image is already an experience. It doesn't wait for external proof if the internal perception is strong enough.
If your attempt was successful, use it to feel self-encouragement to try again. Because when the attempt goes well, you will feel successful. But this is not a one-and-done process. So use the successful moment to encourage future attempts. If your attempt was unsuccessful or unfavorable, analyze it. Use what went wrong to improve on your next attempt by changing what didn't work. Because following these steps doesn't guarantee that every interaction will be a pleasant experience. It just means that you will begin to have confidence in communicating, no matter the circumstances. I forgot to mention one last important element. When you speak to the target, no matter what you've chosen to say, it will be important that you make eye contact. Before you approach the target, you must prepare your mind to avoid the behaviors that can negatively affect the interaction. You want to avoid outward shows of nervousness, and you definitely want to make eye contact before you speak. And last but not least, you might take all of the beginning steps: defining a goal, observing a crowded room, selecting a target, planning what you are going to say, and then thinking of all the possible things that they might say. And once you've done all that and you feel mentally prepared, you're going to begin to approach the target. But if, as you approach the target, you begin to feel nervous and lose your nerve, it's okay to abort the mission. Retreat and regroup. It's okay to regroup and try again. But please do try again. Because you know what? You got this. Earlier, I told you that you might miss out on some great things by avoiding communication with other people. But also, think of how much the world will miss out on with you holding back. Because I bet you've got something great to share with others. Now, find some moments to practice and build your new skills. And let me know in the comments how it went for you. And I just want you to know this strategy was something that I developed for myself when I was a teenager, because I didn't have social anxiety, but I did have this little giggle. I know what it's like to walk away wishing you had said something different or didn't have that little... I used to do that a lot. Every time somebody said something to me, before I would walk away, I'd go, "Oh yeah, that's nice." And then as I was walking away, I'd say, "Why did I laugh like that? Why did I laugh like that? Why do I keep doing that little..." I hated it. Now I don't do it anymore. I worked that out of my system. I only wanted to bring that up to assure you that this is something that I've tried and it's worked for me. And now I've got my daughter trying it. It can work for you too. And if there's anything else I could present you with to help you on your communication journey, comment below.